I'm so excited for this session. We're doing 4 of these. This is the first one that we're doing. But we have a fantastic program, and I am so pleased that Amy Cheroux is our facilitator. Amy is an active realtor in Connecticut, and she also is the former VP of Learning for Better Homes and Gardens and ERA Real Estate. I've known Amy for 40 years. She lives and breathes real estate and education. So I am excited to turn this over to Amy, and hold on because you are going to have a whole lot of information that's going to help you better articulate and understand what value you bring to the consumer.
I was mentoring about a year and a half ago, one of my son's very good friends. He's a realtor in Manhattan in New York. He had been invited to a really posh party. One of his friends was in finance, and he was going to meet all these movers and shakers at this big party. So he's in the Upper West Side in Manhattan, and he tells me he starts talking to people. It's going great. He ends up talking to a young man, and they really hit it off. They have a lot of things in common. At the end of the conversation, Gino says to this gentleman, so, thanks, great meeting you. And the other gentleman says, so Gino, what do you do for a living? So Gino told him that he's in real estate, blah, blah, blah. And the guy who held the party is one of his best friends. And the guy goes, wow, Gino, I wish I had known that you're in real estate. He goes, I run my family's trust, and we just put one of our co-ops on the market. So Gino's, heart is sinking. And he goes, so what's the address? Kind of off, just kind of off the cuff. And he calls me the next morning. He goes, Amy, it was a $4 million listing. He goes, what am I doing wrong? How come people don't know what I do for a living? And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's not just being able to articulate, but it's making sure that everybody who knows you and what you do, as soon as they hear about someone who's thinking about buying or selling real estate, they know how to contact you. They know what you do in real estate. Barb said that I left my corporate job. I had a corporate job for 10 years. Great experience working in a Fortune 500 company, being a solopreneur my whole life, being in real estate. My husband's a builder. I never got those skills. But when I left, I needed to get back into real estate because I was kind of done with corporate. I have some things I'm working on that I'm loving. I called everybody who knows and loves me, whether it's my vendors, my friends, my spheres. And I rehearsed to them when I got back in 2021, what I do, what kind of real estate I specialize in, and if they meet anybody, how to contact me. Last year was my first full year, and referral only was 6 transactions from people saying, hey, I was told I had to call you, or, hey, Amy, I've got John on the phone right now. 6 transactions just from that. So I know it works, and that's what we're going to cover today. So let me share with you our curriculum, and then we are definitely going to start connecting. So thank you for letting me do my little diatribe in the beginning. This is me, realtor here in Connecticut. If you ever have referrals, let me know. I own quite a few rental properties. I am into crypto. I've actually sold 2 houses with people with cryptocurrency. So that's been kind of exciting and new for me. And this is me. What we're going to cover today, though, is the process of a value prop. We're going to talk about mission, vision, values. And you don't have to write these. You just need to know about these. And then we're going to talk about articulating and creating a value proposition. Then I'm going to share with you how to craft your scripts and your taglines, and then how to market your value. Now, if you didn't get it, we have a little handout. We're not going to be using it the whole time, but I put some things together for you so we can practice our value props in this little form. And in this form that I sent you, I added a couple pages at the last minute. This stuff you already might have the stuff that I added at the end down pat. But because we're starting to get a lot of questions on how to articulate some of the new compensation models for buyers and sellers, because it's already happening back here where I live. We're already seeing 0 compensation in the buyer, where the buyer brokerage is. So I'm already starting to have those conversations back here in Connecticut. I put some questions in here on seller motivation and buyer motivation. It's at the end of the manual. Sometimes it's nice to check and, confirm, and kind of compare what you're doing with maybe what someone else is doing. So I put that in the manual for you as well. We most likely will not be covering that. We're going to stay on the value prop. So if you haven't gotten the materials, please download them. And I want to just do one other little, in a second, I want to do one other little like why we're here, because it's always important to have why. But before I go any farther on that, you're here today. You are going to get personal training, which is kind of cool. We're going to work in groups of 3s. And by the end of our time, you will be able to walk out with some really good information. But before I go any farther, would anyone like to just share what they're hoping to get out of the class today? What maybe some challenges you're having with value proposition? What are your questions or concerns? So I can make sure I cover it today. And you can open your mic or you can chat in the box, whatever's more comfortable for you. See some chats coming in. Give you a sec to think. Love to hear from 1 or 2 of you. Any preconceived notions? Why did you take the class? What are you hoping to get out of it? Thanks, Clark. Help with elevator pitch. We'll definitely be doing that. Your elevators are not very high out there, so we're going to have to make a quick work of it, Clark. I have a little bit more of, 30 floors maybe if I'm going downtown or something. But yes, elevator pitch, absolutely. Anybody else? Love to have you guys interactive. Love to hear from one more. Hi, Sarah. I don't have a camera on this computer. Can I just listen in? Sarah, yes, but when we are going to go into a couple of breakout rooms, I hope you guys are okay with that. I still want you to participate. Are you guys okay if I do make this interactive and have you go in and work together? If you could just raise your hand or give me a thumbs up, or in chat say number 1, give me a number 1 that you're okay with it, because I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but that's the best way to get a class like this. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Okay, fantastic. We got some ones who want to do this. So let me just go through one other little exercise and then we'll get right into the material. And this is really based on the story I told you about Gino, but it's mindset. I want to make sure that we have the right mindset today. These are the questions I always ask my class. If you had to go buy a new car, negotiate a new car, we're so bad at negotiating for ourselves, at least I am. Do you have someone in your phone right now that you could text and say, hey, Frank, come with me when I go negotiate this car? Do you have someone in your phone like that? Or that you're going to go travel and you know someone who's excellent at travel and you could say, hey, I have some questions on doing certain types of travel in Europe. Can you help me? Or movies, you want to binge. Or restaurants, you want to go to a new restaurant and all of a sudden you can't think of any new ones. Do you have someone in your phone you go say, hey, what's new and cool? I want to take my husband, my significant other, my wife out to dinner. Do you all have people like that in your phone? Well, how did they get to be those people in your phone? They talk about it. I want you to think about that. They always are passionate and excited about this, and they talk about it. So you have made them top of mind in your mind. That's what we need to do for real estate. We have to stop being embarrassed, afraid to articulate what we do to people. We're not overselling, but if they don't know what we do for a living, we are losing a lot of business. And if in this market where there's inventory shortages everywhere, every listing, every buyer counts. So think about that. What I want you to be is the one they call. I want you to be top of mind. I want you to be relevant and prevalent. The only way to do that is to start articulating your value proposition. And we have a lot to say. And I just had in another class, we brainstormed these questions. So I'll just put them out there for you. Do you know someone who knows the types of questions to ask of listing agents, especially in a multi-offer situation? Do you know someone who can negotiate and translate the results of the home inspection? Or are you know someone who's a realtor in the community, really contributor in the community? Do you know someone who's a cheerleader for buyers who knows how to sort all the ins and outs on this most important financial transaction of their life? Or do you know someone who's really good at tracking important dates and timelines? That's you. These are the things, and we have to figure out today what's most important to you. These are the things that we need to articulate to people. In my world, and that's you. So I put Arizona Realtors up there. It's all of you. We do need to communicate with consumers. And when we empower them with knowledge, we will be top of mind and they will remember us. I'm not going to go through the NAR stats. You know them. 80%, 90% would use their realtor again, only 10 to 13% do. What is that all about? We absolutely have to change that. And that's why I shared that number of 6 referral transactions in 2023, just by me calling people and reminding them. And this is not a large group. This is only about 12 people that I called and I took them to lunch. I took them to coffee. I called them, did a Zoom if they couldn't meet me. And I really went through what I'm doing for real estate and how they can contact me. So think about what kind of real estate you sell and how you're going to articulate it to the people out there. So if you think that this is looking good and you guys are ready to go, I want to give you some knowledge now, and then we're going to do some exercises. So if you can give me a thumbs up, or if you'd rather just type in the box, give me a 1 that we're ready to rock and roll, we'll get going. Thanks for the thumbs. And this is a small group, as you can see today. Please ask questions, just interrupt me. I think we're at a place and we're mature enough that no one will take over. And I would love to hear your questions and your comments. Okay, so we're going to get going. This is not in the handout yet. I will share with you when we get to the handout. If you would like the slides, I'm sure we can figure that out as well. We are recording today. So let's review common terms you need to know. This is the foundation of building your value prop. And most of this is already done for you. The value proposition is the piece we're actually going to work on today. Gotcha, Emily. Mission, vision, I'm sure you've heard those terms, values, and value proposition. All of those 4 items bring together your value proposition. So let's kind of look at some definitions here. A mission is what you're doing now in your business and telling people the effect that you want to have in the world and around you. And here's the good news. Your associations have mission statements. Your brokerages have mission statements. You do not need to create your own. Your homework, though, is to read the mission statement for your brokerage or for your association and make sure you're aligned. And I have some of them. I'm going to share them. I did some research on some of the association's missions. So it's what you want to accomplish now. Why are you in business? Vision is what you want to accomplish in the future. It's one sentence. So what I'm doing now and what I want to do in the future, mission, vision. Values are the principles that a company works on. Think about the world we live in. People are values driven. They will stop working with a company if the values don't align with them. Think about it. Some of the sneaker companies, some of the food companies have lost clients because of their values. Very interesting. Values are important. Do you have values, core values at the company that you work at? Do you like them? Does that work with you? We're going to look at that together, and we're going to actually create some of our own. Last but not least is value proposition. It's really how and what you do to get your business done, right? It's when someone says your elevator pitch. So what do you do for a living? If I met you in an elevator, you would say to me, maybe potentially, Clark, you would say, well, I focus on working with investors and whatever it is, you're going to tell them exactly, and I'm going to show you the formula on how to articulate that. So mission, vision, values, value prop. And I just put this slide up because it's just a good reminder. Mission is what you want to do now. A vision is what the company wants to accomplish in the future. Okay, so now here is one of the participations. You can either put it in chat or you can open your mic, but I'm going to give you some mission statements. I want you to try to guess who they are. First one, to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Does anyone know who that is? Let's see. You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, you got it. It is Starbucks. How about this one? Unlock the potential of human creativity by giving 1 million creative artists the opportunity to live off their art and billions of fans the opportunity to enjoy and be inspired by it. Thanks for your guess for Etsy. I've had that a lot. Believe it or not, it is actually Spotify. But Etsy is a common answer. So thank you. And last but not least is to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe. The power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting in the iconic, it's so long, I can't even say it all. It's Disney. It's quite long. You said, guess, Tina, yes, Netflix, Netflix or Amazon Prime, absolutely. But it's Disney, believe it or not. So those are their mission statements. Now, here are some mission statements, and I'm going to just bring them all in from your associations. I didn't do brokerages, but I did associations. Some of them are really, I mean, they're all great, but you can read through some of these. The Prescott Area, notice I know how to say it, Prescott Area Association of Realtors empowers and equips members to achieve business success while providing unparalleled service to their clients and communities. Northern Arizona supports member advancement through professional development and community partnerships while promoting professionalism and ethics in our ever-changing real estate industry. Those are their missions. We have Central, we have Kingman, all these different states. Your homework, look on your company's website. If you work for a national brand or a boutique, see if you have a mission statement. First thing. So that's the first. Now let's do vision. So vision statements. You're going to do some guessing for me, and some of these you're going to guess right away. Vision for the overall future, to be one of the world's leading producers and providers of entertainment and education. Any guess? So this is vision. Again, thank you. We're thinking still Netflix. It is, again, believe it or not, still Disney. How about, you'll probably get this one pretty quick, to establish ourselves as the premier purveyor of the finest coffee in the world. Of course, Starbucks. And then I'm going to kind of do a switcheroo here to help our customers navigate life's twists and turns. Because I kind of like that. That's MetLife. Mission now. I gave you real estate. I gave you brands, visions for the future. Here are some vision statements from our associations, which I thought were interesting. Scottsdale Realtors is the leading advocate partner and real estate resource serving the interests of realtors in the community region-wide. Partner and real estate resources serving the interests of realtors in the community region-wide. I have that from before. Igniting excellence and fostering professional success as trusted leaders and the voice for real estate in Southern Arizona. They're just tweaked a little bit. But mission and vision are the foundation before we get into our values and value prop. So that's mission and vision. And these are just some mission and vision from other groups that I did the session for. And I just wanted to read some of these to you because I think they're pretty cool. Bringing buyers and sellers together to build a better community. We provide homeowners top shelf experiences serving their Texas home buying and selling needs. To be the leading real estate and homeowner service company from Manhattan to Montauk, always exceeding our customers' expectations. To be the best full-service real estate company in the Triangle and to enhance our quality of life through active community involvement. And I know I'm reading them all, but I love these. As trusted advisor and consultant, we are the navigators of the transaction with the goal of minimizing surprises and challenges. We capitalize on all real resources available and necessary and synthesize it into a smooth, successful transaction. That's actually my company's. I like it. This is not for every client. This is not for our first-time home buyers. This is for our luxury clients and our investors, because we have some pretty sophisticated investors in Connecticut where I work. So you get the idea. Mission vision, you don't have to create it yourself, but you need to know the mission and vision where you are. Does anyone right now have a mission or vision statement that they know of for their company, or they can share? Does anyone have one? Does anyone know? And if you're gonna, if no, just put no in the chat for me or do a thumbs down. That would be good. I just want to know if anyone has one now. See if anyone's going to chat. Okay. Okay, thanks, Clark. Check on it. And Emily, thank you for answering. Thanks for being responsive, guys. It's very important to have some interaction with you guys, so I love it. So a couple of just level sets, and then we're going to go into value. So we've done mission and vision. You'd had fun with looking at them. You know you have to go and find the ones for your company or association. Make sure you're in line. You do not have to write one yourself. Start using different language. Instead of just realtor, we are also trusted advisors and consultants. And that's what I have here. I wrote up my value prop again. This is something that we share all the time. And why is this important? If we empower clients with knowledge and resources, we're going to make them more confident and they will want to work with us. And it helps minimize the stress and risk. Now, what's interesting is that sometimes it's nice to know what type of clients you have. We're not going to do it today, but if you have the ability to do any kind of personality assessment of your clients, like a DISC or a color profile, knowing that is really important, because if you have a driver versus someone who's just very social versus someone who loves numbers, if you know your client, and you all do, we want to even tweak our value props even more for each type of person we work with. So we'll get there. Mission, vision, we're there. Now we're going to get into our values and our value prop. But before we do that, I need you to, in your manual, what I'd like you to do, if you have it open or even on your computer, we're going to skip page, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. It's right on page 1. We're going to do 2 things. First, why are you in real estate? Stay with me. We'll come back to the manual. Just have the manual handy because I want you to do a little exercise in a moment, but have it handy. We're not going to do it yet. What is your why? Why are you in real estate? What made you take this job? And I want you to think about it for a minute. And if you would be willing to share either in chat or to open your mic, I'd love to hear from 1 or 2 of you. Before we go any farther, we need to know, what is your why?
I'll share.
Please, thank you.
So my husband and I had flipped a few houses and we had a little one, so it wasn't like I was trying to be a full-time agent. And I got my license as a stopgap. He was going to get his license, but I had more time to go get my license, and then we wouldn't have to pay people to represent us on transactions where we were finding their mistakes, because we're both kind of type A, and we're like, why am I paying you? And you've spelled my name wrong. And it just went downhill from there. So, and then flipping kind of dried up, and I continue to do what I do because there's no other place that I can set my own hours and go do what I want with my kids when I want and make this money. I could do a 9-to-5 job, but it wouldn't give me the flexibility. And now I would get a paycheck every 2 weeks instead of like having gaps like we do. But that's why so that I can be with my kids when I want to be with them.
Thank you so much, Emily. When we get into the value prop, let's think about spinning what you said, why you got into real estate, even with the kids, absolutely, but with the mistakes and what kind of level of professionalism you were looking for when you were looking for a realtor. Let's see if we can twist that a little bit for you. My value prop for my investors is a lot with that because I say to them, I'm a numbers geek. I go, I slice and dice 50 data points every month, and I am very concise with my paperwork. And I get, and then we get in, but that's what they love. How are you going to articulate to the people? So we'll talk about that. First time home buyers, they might not be so happy. They might want you to hold their hand. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else want to share before I move on? That was very helpful and interesting. Thank you. Anybody else want to share why they got in real estate?